welcome to the Divisional Round Weekend edition of the BRASH Sports Podcast. Brought to you by Nobody Again. We still have not gotten our sponsors back. Nobody trusts us in the market to continuously put out episodes, but 2 weeks in a row, we're trying. We're going to get back there. So, McDonald's, Apple, Google, hit us up. We are looking for sponsors. I am Josh. I'm joined by my best friend, Brandon, as always. And we have a lot of shit to get into after a very exciting wild card weekend. We're going to go back, recap all of that, and get into our divisional round picks. But first, Brandon, what's going on, buddy? How you doing this weekend?
Hey, man. 2 weeks in a row. We're going to earn those sponsorships back.
You're going to earn them back. Yeah, man. It's exciting. Like I told you last time, I was like, man, that was so much fun recording. Why don't we do that more often instead of taking off 8 weeks or 10 weeks at a time? 2 weeks in a row, we're busting our ass for the people, and hopefully we'll get to reap the rewards here soon. But we have a lot to get into, man. How good was that wild card weekend?
It was great. We're certainly going to stay consistent throughout the playoffs because the playoffs, they're intriguing, and it was quite a wild weekend of wild card football. My picks, not so great, but
yeah, mine either.
My feelings on where I wanted the games to go. Amazingly, the games headed in that direction for the most part. There was only one stinker in there, but overall, I'm satisfied with how last weekend went.
100%. I would rather get all of my picks wrong, but have all of the teams I want to win than the other way around for sure. So yeah, let's get right into that. Let's start last week with the Browns and Texans. CJ Stroud becoming the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game. The Texans routed the Browns 45-14 in a game where I think we both had the Browns.
We both had the Browns. Is my audio fucking up right now?
Dude, a fucking ad just popped up on my computer, and Travis Kelce was talking to me about fucking DirecTV or some shit.
God damn it, Travis Kelce. We've had this recording now for like 25 minutes before we started the episode, and still Travis Kelce pops up at the most inopportune time. But
how do I even? Okay,
are you out of it now? Are we good?
I'm out. I'm out of it now. I'm out of the woods now. Yeah, but I think there's a chance he could come back. You can't keep Travis Kelce off of your TV screen, your computer monitors, whatever. He's in every single ad, and they're just throwing him at you at the most inopportune times. But anyway, we both had the Browns. Neither one of us, if you had told me the Texans were going to win, I would have said, okay, that makes sense. You got a crystal ball. You see the future. You're going to tell me the Texans win.
I'm not surprised.
But to win 45-14 and CJ Stroud has the game that he did was unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable. I was shocked. That to me was one of the shocks of the weekend. It was very surprising.
Yeah, this was one of those where going into it, the reason I had picked Cleveland was because I felt like their defense had been underrated all season. Statistically, yards per game, they finished the regular season number 1, I believe. So a good unit on that side of the ball. But then hindsight, after the game was over, I'm like, what in the fuck? Why would I pick the Cleveland Browns to win a playoff game away from home? Like, what was I thinking? It should have just ended there. I should have just looked at it face value and said, no way I'm picking the Browns. And again, I was really hoping that we'd see the Joe Flacco Ravens reunion and the AFC Championship. I was thinking that type of deal, and not just thinking about the matchup at hand. And Flacco, he looked like an old man that just needs to call it quits. Sorry, buddy. CJ Stroud is the up-and-comer, the rookie, the face of a franchise. And Joe Flacco, it's over for you, buddy. He was responsible for 14 of those points put on the board by the Texans because he threw back-to-back pick sixes, which didn't help Cleveland's cause one bit. But, yeah, that was just That was stupid of me to be picking the Browns in the first place. The Texans deserve it. I'm happy they won. Didn't really have a dog in the fight. So, I'm pulling for the Texans. And again, I'm a huge Bobby Slowick fan. I've been telling you, their offensive coordinator, and he
Long time.
absolutely schooled that defense that I thought was so underrated. So, again, just there you go. There's one off the list that I got wrong. Don't worry, there's plenty more to come, Josh.
Plenty more, and we'll breeze through this next one too, because I believe we recorded after these games happened, right? So, I think we already talked about these, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
I think so on the last episode, but
fuck.
It's fine.
No, whatever.
We listen to that thing anyway.
I don't think anybody gives a
so
shit.
Yeah, so the Saturday night game, the Chiefs beat the shit out of the Dolphins 26-7. That score doesn't really do it justice. It was a very one-sided game. Mahomes looked awesome. Travis Kelce looked pretty good, but Rashee Rice was the story of the game on the receiving end for the Chiefs. But yeah, they won 26-7. No surprise. The Super Bowl champs came to play at home, which is where they're comfortable. And the Dolphins kind of, lived up to everybody's expectations of going on the road in a freezing cold game and kind of, laying an egg. So I think you had the Dolphins in this game. I had the Chiefs. It's the only game that I got right in my bracket, which is just absolutely embarrassing. But yeah, what was your takeaway from this game, Brandon?
Yeah, I was disappointed overall in Miami and how they ended their season. I just thought it was such a good regular season. I expected them to at least get one playoff win this year. And it sucks just having them lose to the Chiefs. I'm just so out on the Chiefs. You're right. We probably talked about this last week, but I'm ready for another team to take over that conference and take over the Super Bowl. I just don't want to see them again. I'm done with the Chiefs. But and a lot of people were talking about the weather and how the cold weather might affect the Dolphins, and I didn't really think that would have much of an impact because, again, they're all human beings. So I don't think that the people that play on the Chiefs are any more well-suited to play in cold weather or cold temperatures than anybody that plays with the Dolphins. But it sure looked that way when you watch the game.
It definitely did.
Dolphins just didn't look comfortable, except for Tyreek Hill, of course. He was ready to go, who was responsible for the only points put on the board by the Dolphins. But, yeah, I think it was just more of a testament, really, to the Chiefs' defense. And that's another underrated unit. So, again, probably
I've been saying it all year.
Probably parroting what I said last week, but I don't even remember. So there you go. That's that.
That is that. Moving on to the Sunday games.
Right,
I mean, I know we've been just fucking waiting to get into this one. Game of the weekend. If you are a Cowboys hater, which you and I both vehemently are, Jordan Love and the Packers pull a wild card stunner. Some people were stunned. You and I, not stunned. If you go back to the recording last week, we were both all over this one. Not necessarily for the upset, but we were both very high on Packers plus 7.5. That was probably, I think, the only bet I hit last weekend. So it really saved my week. But Packers blew out the Cowboys 48-32, and that score does not do the game any justice. It was 27-0 at half. Or 27-3 or 20, maybe, I don't know, but it was like 27-0 at one point.
It was 27-7, but that's because the Cowboys scored a touchdown the final second of the first half.
Seconds. Yeah, they got fucking bailed out, of course, and scored a touchdown. But yeah, 27-0 up to that point, and nobody saw that coming, even me. Like I said, it'll be a close game. Packers will give them a game. I did not see the blowout coming, and boy, was it fucking amazing. It had my popcorn popped. I was sitting there ready to see it, and it delivered on every single level. Fuck the Cowboys. What a game. What a fucking game. How excited were you sitting on your couch watching this one, B?
I mean, yeah, it was the perfect treat for a Redskins fan who doesn't have a team to look forward to. Watching. The most I could hope for was to see the Dallas Cowboys get knocked out. And in the fashion that they did, man, it was great. Especially, I mean, again, every year their fans are always, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. I do agree that out of all the years that they have said that, because unfortunately I have seen them in the playoffs a lot. They tend to get upset in the wild card, which is great. But this did look like the strongest unit I can remember seeing in my lifetime.
I agree.
Especially their defense. I thought their defense was overly impressive this year. And they were 8-0 and at home heading into this game. So I absolutely did not expect complete and utter ass whooping. The Packers took the Cowboys behind that old woodshed, Josh.
Yeah.
And this was the most points allowed by a Cowboys team in any playoff game in their history. And the most points scored by a Packers team in any playoff game in the Packers history. And the Packers have been around for a long time, as you know. So that says a lot right there. How lucky are the Green Bay Packers, man? It looks like they've hit yet again, third time in a row with a franchise quarterback. I know some might say I'm getting a little carried away, but he has really finished the regular season off strong. It's like the last 5 weeks or something, he threw 1 interception, and he threw 0 interceptions in this game against the Cowboys, 3 touchdowns. He had a 157.2 rating and 99.3 QBR. It was just a stellar performance. Defense on the Cowboys end, they laid an egg. They made life easy for him. A lot of wide open targets, easy. A lot of underthrown balls that his players could have just been sitting in a lounge chair waiting for. Yeah. But it was fun. All the way around. And the score line doesn't really give it justice. If the Packers were actually trying throughout the entire game, this one would have finished 48-16. So
yeah, but thank goodness that Dak Prescott put up the stat line that he did. He had 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, right? Mm-hmm. Because that kept his job in Dallas, right?
Really? The garbage time stats? You think so?
I think so, man. I think that helped make a case to keep him around.
I'm sure he's staying around. Come on.
Yeah.
We already know that Mike McCarthy, he'll be back.
Mike McCarthy is going to be back. Dak Prescott's going to be back. I
think back.
Putting up 32 points has a lot to do with it, because now you can blame, Dan Quinn and say oh, well, if your defense hadn't given up 48 points, then we would have had a shot. So all the blame gets shifted to him, and it's clearly not his fault. This is clearly a Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott issue. Those guys just fucking choke in the playoffs every year, and now they've saved their jobs, and now they're going to continue running it back, and they're going to keep losing in the playoffs. It's perfect. And I'm with you. I thought this year was the first time in a long time that I looked at a Cowboys team and said, this is an actual contender. This is a legitimate team that can make moves and upset, the juggernauts of the East. And they fell flat on their face like they always do. And it was as good as promised. Again, if you had told me before the game the Cowboys are going to lose, I would have said, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm so happy. But the way it played out and the way that they lost, chef's kiss, man. It was fucking perfect. Yeah. You couldn't design it any better for a Cowboys hater.
A little bummed by the cameramen and how they weren't, I love taking in the Cowboys fans in the stands, and the emotions on their face, the life being sucked out of them as they're watching their team choke in the wild card game. And they spared them, that humiliation. And that really bothered me. I wanted that. I wanted more. It was great. What was it? Was it last year or a couple years ago where they lost the 49ers and they were showing all the fans. Was it last year? And they were crying. Yeah. Oh, it brought so much joy to my heart. And, they got off easy, I think, with, not having to be put through the ringer like they were last year. But,
they definitely went easy on them. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it was at home. I think they lost in San Francisco last year. Maybe.
No, dude.
And maybe that has something
it was
to do
definitely
with it.
in Dallas.
Was it in Dallas?
Yeah, the crying and stuff was in Jerry's world. So
Okay.
That I know.
Yeah, maybe that was just bad. Goodell put his foot down and said, "No, we gotta have the Cowboys as a premium
Be nice
brand.
to
We
him.
can't
Yeah.
be nice to them."
You
But
think
anyway,
Dan Quinn also stays in town? I mean, his stock plummeted, but there's still talk about him getting interviews potentially. I mean,
no, I think he'll leave. I think he'll go coach somewhere else, whether it's a head coach or a defensive coordinator. I think he's ready to move on from that.
oh, if he's
piece
going
of
to be a
shit.
DC, he's going to stay in Dallas. I think
So? I
yeah.
don't know. I think he might be ready to go.
But I could see him as the Tennessee Titans coach. I don't know. They like defensive head coaches over there.
They do.
So
They
I feel like if he's going to go somewhere, then that would be a good spot. Or back to Seattle. Wasn't he there to DC when they were the what was their Legion of Boom?
The Legion of Boom. Yeah. No, he was, and that's what all the experts have been speculating, and that would be, to me, like
That'd be fitting.
That's a natural fit. Yeah. So
and I hope
could totally
he leaves.
see that. But the Titans, man, I haven't thought about that one. I could totally see him on a Titans sideline. So, all right. We've beaten that dead horse.
Sorry, it's just so much fun.
And boy, is it a dead horse. Stupid Cowboys fans.
All right. Rams, Lions. This one, was as advertised. It was a thriller. And I said Stafford would have the game of his life. He had a tremendous game. Was it the game of his life? Okay, maybe not, but it was damn good. He didn't make silly mistakes. I thought the officiating overall was poor in this one, but I don't think it was a deciding factor. The Lions did enough to win, and they won 24-23. And it was just nice to see them at Ford Field in front of their, overly loyal fan base and get that first playoff win in 30 years. So I'm happy for Detroit and their fans. And, I'm happy for Matt Stafford, too, because he had a good showing and he didn't shit the bed. And the Rams overall have nothing to worry about. They're going to come back and be a solid team again next season. So that was another fun game to watch and a great way to wrap up our Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was the game I was most looking forward to. And I think it was the game that delivered the most because it was close throughout. You never really knew like who had the edge. Detroit's fans were fucking awesome. They booed Matt Stafford, which was hilarious. Stafford played a great game. Dude, that guy, he's got to be the toughest quarterback in the NFL. Like he just gets fucking beaten,
destroyed
and battered,
out there.
Dude. Like right off the bat, his thumb is like gushing blood. You're like, oh my god, dude! And then he still played a great game.
Tough son of a bitch.
He had that one play where he got fucking hit by like three different guys, head hit the ground. He looked clearly concussed, and they let him come back in the game anyway. It was the play where if it was Patrick Mahomes, half of the opposing team's defense would have been ejected. Guys in the secondary that weren't even close to the play would have been kicked out because it was just such a brutal fucking hit.
You're right.
And it was late hit. And man, he just bounced right back and kept him in the game the whole time. Lions are riding that momentum, and I fucking love to see it. If there's one team I want to see representing the NFC this year, it is the Detroit Lions. How cool would it be to see him in the Super Bowl, right? So I'm 100% on board. I want that train to keep rolling, and what a game. 100% delivered.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm getting hyped just fucking thinking about it.
I can't wait to see the Lions next game, and I agree with you. I do hope that they are representing the NFC in the upcoming Super Bowl, and the team I'm hoping is representing the AFC. They also got a dub. They had their game got delayed to Monday, and that is the Buffalo Bills. They shellacked the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-17, and they did a good job of clearing all the snow out of there, I thought. It was, this one really, I feel like this game went the way it should have gone. Given the Steelers, yes, they were 10-7, but kind of a farce at 10-7, I believe. A lot of those games, a win's a win. You are what your record is, but they, a lot of those wins were like the final seconds, and they just got really lucky in many games in the regular season. And they have Mike Tomlin, who's a solid head coach, and he's that type of guy that can turn chicken shit into chicken salad. So good for him and good for the Steelers to make it to the playoffs and have the opportunity. But the Bills got business done against Mason Rudolph, and they did what they should have done. So it was good Josh Allen, not bad Josh Allen. We always say that you never know which one you're going to get. And fortunately, the Bills faithful got the good Josh Allen in this one. So, really not a whole lot to break down, in my opinion. I'm happy they won, but they should have won. And, it's on to the big thriller against the Chiefs this week. So, and they get to host. This will be the first time hosting the Chiefs, right? I know we're going to get to that.
Every other time. In the Josh Allen era, every time they've had to go through Arrowhead because the Chiefs had the number 1 seed fucking how many years in a row. But yeah, no, great game. I unfortunately picked the Steelers in this one because I thought bad Josh Allen was going to show up, and just had that gut feeling like, hey, there's going to be one game that kind of shocks people. And I thought that the Steelers, with, the hard-nosed attitude and the running game that toward the end of the season was one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Najee Harris turned it on after week 8. And I thought that they would just kind of control the game. A couple bad Josh Allen plays. And next thing you know, the Steelers are winning 17-16 or something stupid, right? That horseshoe that has been carrying them along all season would prevail yet again. I was obviously wrong. The Bills dominated this entire game. It was never really close. So yeah, good for the Bills. Again, yeah, they're one of the teams that I would love to see in a Super Bowl. Those fans fucking deserve it. They're lighting themselves on fire, jumping on tables. Bills Mafia, God bless you. I really hope that those two fan bases colliding in a Super Bowl, Lions and Bills, holy shit, it would be fucking
that would be the best.
mega.
That would be the best Super Bowl of my lifetime, because, or at least since I can remember. Obviously the best Super Bowl of my lifetime were the ones that the Redskins were in, but I was in,
diapers.
I was in diapers, or just out of diapers. So I don't recall those ones, but yeah, this would be the one, that I, of memory, that I would be most excited to witness if it were Bills Lions, which says to me it's not going to happen. It's too good to be true. But hey, we can keep on dreaming, because we were treated yet again, for the originally only slated Monday game, which was the Eagles being hosted by the 9-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a lot of people were picking the Bucs because of how ugly the end of the season was for the Eagles, or really the last 6 games was for the Eagles, finishing 1-5 in those final 6. But I picked the Eagles because I just felt like, okay, the regular season's over. It's time to get down to business. And, going into the year, I felt like the Eagles were the best team of the conference. They would get all that shit behind them and just show the Bucs that they're a better team. Boy, was I wrong. They got spanked by Baker Mayfield and company, 32-9. Baker threw for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. What the hell? I'll be honest. This one, I actually tuned out early in the third quarter. I was pretty much done. Yes, it was still up in the air at that point, but the Eagles could have made a comeback. But I just felt like, if they do make a comeback, I don't want to see it, and I really don't care about the Bucs. So I did not watch all the way through like you did. I know you stuck around and watched the entire game, but I was happy and pleasantly surprised to see the fashion in which the Eagles lost. And there you go, the Eagles, Cowboys. See you later. What a treat! What a treat the wild card was.
An absolute delicious treat for all of us NFC East non-Cowboy, non-Eagles fans, to see them both eliminated in the fashion that they were. You couldn't draw it up any better. If someone handed me the keys and said, you get to write the script of the NFL season, I would probably have it aside from the Giants winning the Super Bowl, right? I would have the Cowboys and Eagles getting embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs, and boy, did it deliver. I did watch this game, but kind of like you, I was kind of zoned out. I think I was just scrolling Twitter in the fourth quarter, just looking at all the people talking shit about the Eagles was as good as seeing the Eagles lose. And you got to watch that post game with all of the upset Eagles players and Jason Kelsey, I think he knew like, hey, this is my last run at it. And I like Jason Kelsey, but to see him
that's a bummer. Out of all the Eagles, that's like the one player that I do like.
Yeah, for sure. But he's still an Eagle, and to see him sad makes me happy.
That's true.
So yeah, a great way to just kind of
he retired. He's done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why he was, he was doubly sad because he knew going into this run, like you don't just make a snap decision like that, right? He knew ahead of time, hey, this is my last run at it, and just to get embarrassed and so good. Again, you couldn't draw it up any better, and what a way to cap off an incredible weekend of football for Cowboys and Eagles haters, but also we got some great games, great action, so couldn't have asked for more.
And no word yet. We were talking about this earlier. No word on whether or not Sirianni would still be around next season as the head coach of the Eagles. But no news means they're thinking about it. They have not made up their mind yet. So
no, if they wanted, if there weren't better options out there, they would have come out and said, we're sticking with our guy. But they haven't said that, which means that they're entertaining other options. I think Belichick to the Eagles, to me, feels like a good fit. I can't see him in Atlanta. I know we've talked about this off air. I cannot picture him in Atlanta coaching the Falcons. I could totally see him coaching the Eagles. It feels right up their alley, and I think it would be a disastrous move for the Eagles. So I want to see that.
That's true. I'd rather Belichick than Sirianni.
He's the GOAT, but he's fucking way past his prime. It's a different era of the NFL. It's his coaching methods do not work in today's NFL. So please, Eagles, go get Bill Belichick.
Make it happen.
And make it happen and have a future of turmoil. I want to see it.
I just feel like if they had any interest in that, they would have fired Sirianni. You can't interview somebody for a vacancy that doesn't exist. So,
I think there's been some whispers, though. I think there's some seeds have been planted. I imagine. I don't know, though. We'll see. Time will tell.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. This week's slate of divisional round games, Josh, starting off with the Texans in Baltimore. This one should be a good one. CJ Stroud versus Lamar Jackson. And Lamar made it an entire regular season. I said I was not confident that he'd be able to do it because he never has in his career. But because I said that, he proved me wrong because that's what I do. I aim to please when it comes to my reverse jinxing. I am a master at it. And the Ravens finished the season 13-4. They are 6-3 in Baltimore. So it will not be smooth cruising for the Texans like it was against the Browns. This is a tough team, in my opinion, the toughest of teams right now in the NFL, those Baltimore Ravens. So I'm super excited. The Ravens currently are favorites minus 9.5. The over-under, Josh, is at 43.5 for this one, which is relatively low number for a playoff game. But I guess, once again, the cold temperatures, the Ravens defense, perhaps they just feel like this one, is just smelling like an under, but I don't know. That's not how I feel.
Yeah. I've been on the under all week. I know that you and I have differing opinions on this. And again, I hope that you are right because nobody wants to witness an under unless you bet the under. Because it's just way more entertaining to see a bunch of points flying around. Yeah. Now, I think another big factor that you did not mention is Lamar Jackson's playoff history has not been pretty. I think he's 0-4 in the playoffs with some really sloppy play. So I think they're factoring in some Lamar Jackson hiccups here, even coming off an MVP season. His playoff record speaks for itself. And the Texans have got to come back down to earth at some point. I think this feels like a really good spot for them too. I mean, coming off a ridiculous high of blowing a team out in the playoffs when most people had them finishing as one of the bottom dwellers of the NFL, they can hang their hats on their season and go, fuck yeah, guys, we did it. Baby steps. We got our playoff win. Nobody expected us to be here. If we lose to the Ravens, no biggie. No one was really expecting us to win anyway. So there's a little bit of that mindset going in. And the Ravens, given their history, like I see this as a low scoring game. I think the Ravens win pretty comfortably, but I don't think it's going to be the most exciting game. So my pick is the Ravens. I don't necessarily, that's a big number to have, a cover in a low scoring game, 9.5 points. But I like the under. I like under 43.5 in this one. I also like Lamar Jackson to be running around a lot because I think those nerves kind of sink in, and when the pressure mounts, it's a lot harder to pull the trigger throwing, and he's such a dynamic runner. I think he's going to take off a lot. So if the Texans can slow him down running the ball, then they'll stay in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you think history will repeat itself, because this is actually, I had to just find this out. This didn't click, but this is a repeat of week one. The Texans went to Baltimore and they lost 25-9. So
interesting.
That was a relatively low scoring game, and the Ravens won comfortably. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it that way, could. But I just think, throughout the season, the Texans have grown a lot. C.J. Stroud has obviously grown a lot. I mean, that was his first start in the regular season.
They're a very different team, obviously.
Yeah. So. And I think the Ravens are a different team too. I mean, they really got things going again the second half of the season. So I just think it'll be a different story. I don't know. It's one of those weird just tingles that I feel like it's going to be a shoot 'em out type game. And there's really no statistics I can throw out there to back up my feelings. That's just how I feel this one playing out. Yes, I did put a little parlay down that would require a lot of points to be scored. And but I don't know. I mean, that said, I didn't do the over under. It just requires certain players to score certain touchdowns. So
if your parlay hits, the under is missing. I'll just say that because your parlay would have to hit, and that's like the only thing that hits, right? Like
that's true.
All the anytime touchdowns and all the
parlay itself would require at least 35 points,
right?
So you're right.
If nothing else happens, then the under hits, but like that never happens.
But technically, the parlay could hit and the under could hit.
Very true.
There's a chance.
And also the way that my bets have gone, if I think the under is gonna happen, boy, are we gonna see some points. We are gonna see an absolute shootout in this game.
So last week, I went 1-5 like you did.
It's so embarrassing. It's just
that does not bode well for the Ravens because we're both picking the Ravens in this one.
Correct.
Just throwing a score out there. I will say Ravens. I'll say 31-27 Ravens.
Okay. I will say 19-10 Ravens.
Ooh, all right.
Random, I know, but 19-10.
That'd be kind of a boring game, but
I think that
we'll see. You got to go with your gut. You got to go with your gut.
Yeah.
All right. And moving right along, the late game tonight, Josh. Another thriller. The Green Bay Packers, who were surprising and impressive against the Cowboys, as we mentioned. They're headed to face the big boys. No more fucking around. They're playing the 49ers in Santa Clara. So welcome to the big time. The well-rested 49ers who finished the regular season 12-5. They are 5-3 at home. They're favored by 10 points. The over-under in this one is 50.5. I mean, yeah, I guess there's be a lot of questions about for this one how Jordan Love does after that impressive performance against Dallas. Can he carry that over as they travel across the country and play the well-rested 49ers? And Brock Purdy, he got injured in his first playoff game last year, right?
Correct. Like right away. He got hurt. After
that was
that
was against the Eagles. Yeah, so it was like an easy win for the Eagles.
I think Christian McCaffrey ended up taking snaps at quarterback for the 49ers because they had like Jimmy G and then someone else got hurt and then
right.
So Brock Purdy came in with like 5 games left and won all of them. And he's like the hot new thing, right? Everyone's like, holy shit, this Brock Purdy kid can ball.
Yeah.
And then right away got hurt. And they were like, well, we don't have any more quarterbacks. That's how the Eagles ended up they kind of manhandled and kept going on that run. But yeah, dude, this is Brock Purdy's chance to fucking prove himself in the playoffs after getting hurt last year.
Plain and simple. 49ers aren't the Cowboys. This team is not a bunch of choke artists, and they're going to be a tough out for the Packers. I think the Packers, I think they give them a game. But this is the one, even though this one, I guess by the over-under, more points are expected to be scored here. This is the one I think could be a lower scoring defensive battle. But I'm going with the Niners, as you know. I'm giving them the edge here. I think we both have the Niners winning the NFC. So, just for the sake, again, for just making a score on the fly, I will say the final score here, Josh, I'll say 2017.
Wow. Okay. 2017. So I just think the Packers are going to have a really hard time stopping the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to put up at least 35 points in this game. 2 weeks of rest for all of the playmakers that they have, man. And normally you'd think, ooh, they're going to be a little rusty, but really well-coached teams don't get rusty. And the way that Kyle Shanahan schemes his offense, there's short passes, a lot of yards after catch, great blocking schemes, etc. That's rust proof. You know what I mean? They're not going out and just bombing it down the field. So I think the Packers, they've gone 4 out of the last 5 games have been on the road. You have that emotional high from last week, and now they have to go on the road again. I just think they're going to be a little worn out. And I think having to go into San Francisco and play against that team, I think it could get out of hand for them fast. I like the 49ers minus, I think it's the spread's up to -10, but hopefully if you're lucky, you got it at -9.5. And I do like the over because I think the 49ers get you 75% of the way there. So really, if they put up 35, the Packers only need 16 to cover. And I think that's roughly what the score is going to be. I think it'll be like a 35 to 17 type game. And the Niners win comfortably, the over hits. And the Packers, again, they're like the Texans in this. They're playing with house money. They can pat themselves on the back and go, look how good our young quarterback has done. And we can go home with a smile on our face and said, dude, we blew out everyone's expectations of us this year. You know, let's build momentum into next year and go home with a smile on their face. So, but with all that said, I think the Niners win comfortably, and I think they put up a lot of points. 35-17.
All right. 35-17.
And a lot of that is garbage time. Like, I think this could be a 49ers are up 24-0 at half. Like, It could be one of those.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
See, that would be a bummer for Packers Nation if they come out completely flat. But
yeah, I know, who could blame them? 4 out of 5 games on the road, emotional high in Dallas. You got to look at it and go, all right, well, they They gave us a gift last week, right? They gave us the
Yeah,
best gift, which was blowing out Dallas at home.
that's true.
I don't think, you can't be that upset. Like last year with the Giants, right? We had that huge emotional win against Minnesota, and nobody expected us to even make the playoffs that year. And the next week we went into Philly and got absolutely fucking torched. I think we lost like 42-9 or
Yeah.
something really bad. So I could see that being a very similar situation here.
All right, let's move right along to our Sunday games. This one, the earlier game, 3:00 Eastern time kickoff. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers headed to Detroit to take on them Lions. It's so weird saying Tampa Bay in the divisional round. I mean,
It is.
It just, what the hell? They made it this far, but it is kind of cool knowing that one of these two teams will be in the conference championship. That's pretty neat.
It is pretty cool. You're right.
So the Bucks, who have been decent away from home, 5-4 record away. The Lions, solid, of course, in Detroit, as we know, 6-2 regular season and 7-2 overall now. They, again, especially after that last game, I know that they won. It was a close one. Really could have been anyone's game, but there was the sense of like they're destined, these Detroit Lions, to make it to the big dance.
Yeah.
So hey, again, if you're a Bucks fan, house money, you have nothing to be ashamed of if they lose here. It looks like that their Bucks are moving in the right direction. Surprisingly, I thought they would be one of the shittiest teams this season. Instead, that was the Redskins. So it was the Buccaneers who were able to finish the year with a winning record. Yes, they kind of snuck into the playoffs because they're in the NFC South, but they showed last week that they deserve to be here. A lot of people out there are picking the Bucks for this one, just simply for the fact that they're playing the Lions, and they can see the Lions winning back-to-back playoff games. The Lions are favored -6 right now. The over-under in this one, Josh, is 49.5. And I mean, I kind of already spilled the beans there, but of course, I'm going with the Lions. Going with the Lions here. I think that they will make it to the conference final, and they deserve it. And how I see this one playing out, I think I think it's a close one. I really do. This one I could see being like I'll say 28-24 Lions.
That's a really good. I was thinking the same thing. I think it's another back and forth game. I don't think either one of these teams really runs away with it. I think the Bucks can manage to stay in it. I think the Lions they're going to have an insane home field advantage, right? But a lot of times that can come with a lot of pressure. And a lot of these Lions players just haven't been in situations like this before. But you know who has? Jared Goff. People forget this dude led a team to the Super Bowl. And he has amazing weapons. I think they're really going to depend on the ground and pound aspect. I think you're going to see Montgomery with a ton of touches, Jahmyr Gibbs with a lot of like screen passes just to build that comfortability for Goff. When he made that run with the Rams, he didn't have to do a whole lot, right? That team was fucking loaded. But here he has some great weapons. Dan Campbell should be in contention for Coach of the Year. He's done really great things with that team. So yeah, I'm pulling for the Lions, but I think this is a tough one. This is going to be a nail biter. I think it comes down to the fourth quarter, and both teams are going to be in it. I wanted to take Lions -6, but I don't think I have the fucking cojones to pull the trigger on that. I think your final score is going to be around like 27-23 was my first gut feeling about this game. So it's going to be very close to covering. Who knows? It could go either way. This is the one where, God bless these Lions fans, but couldn't you just, given the history, couldn't you just see a big letdown here and couldn't you also see the Baker Mayfield comeback story just being the headline, right? But I really hope not. I'm really pulling for these Lions. I fucking hope they pull it off. And I hope I didn't just jinx them to shit.
Well, you and I have gone 3 for 3 in picking the exact same winner. So if you are listening to this and these games have not yet kicked off, put your life savings on the opposite. Go the opposite heavy.
Big
you
time.
will make money.
Yep.
But
this next one, though, this next one,
this is where it all comes crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
The final game in the divisional round slate. This is a juicy one. This is the one that's, I mean, any neutral fan could get fired up for.
Yep.
The Kansas City Chiefs headed to Buffalo, take on the Bills. Chiefs in the regular season 6-2 away. Bills at home 7-2 at home. Why does that seem wrong? Oh, they're counting their playoff win there.
Oh, okay.
That's strange. They normally don't do that because they don't do that for their regular record.
Yeah, but for the sake of discussion,
ESPN fucked up. ESPN fucked up. We're going by ESPN's numbers here. So Bills are favored by 3 here, over under at 45.5. That seems low. Again, Vegas knows something. Vegas fucking knows. But Bills, as we mentioned earlier, they're finally getting to host the Chiefs instead of having to go to Arrowhead. Bills Mafia is going to be insane. And, of course, as previously mentioned, I'm hoping the Bills win. And I'm just so sick and tired of the Chiefs. That said, there is no clear-cut favorite in this one in my head. This is a true flip of the coin here, and it comes down to yet again the same thing. Good Josh Allen versus bad Josh Allen. If we get good, the Bills will prevail. They'll finally get over that barrier that is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they will be in the AFC Championship game. But if we get the bad Josh Allen, yet again, Chiefs are headed to the conference final, and I really hope that's not the case. So for that, I'm going with the Bills. I really think we're going to see good Josh Allen. I think he is going to be that playoff caliber quarterback for this one that we have been dying to see. So, give me the Bills winning a tight one here. I don't understand the 45.5. I would go over in this one. Yes, I know it's going to be cold outside. I don't think that fucking matters. Maybe it's going to be super windy or something, and I'm not putting that into account. But I am going to say both teams score more than 30 points in this one. That's right. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I will say 33-31 Bills. A thriller in Buffalo.
Okay. Wow. That's big. That's big. I think, yeah.
That's going to be a real defensive battle. All your money on it. Do it right now.
A couple things, right? One, I can't really lose in this game because now that the Bills they won the wild card game, so that bold prediction I made before long ago, bold prediction missed last week. And I'm fine with it because now I get to root for the Bills because they're the team in the AFC I want to see go. I want to see the Bills and Lions in the Super Bowl. Those fan bases, LA would just be on fire and it would be fucking awesome. Conversely, the Chiefs were the team I had picked to go to the Super Bowl long ago when we did our bold predictions. So if either team wins, I can hang my hat on that. Mm-hmm. I think, like you said, it is totally a coin flip. So if you're gonna bet the spread, take the team that's getting points. In fact, in your scenario, the Chiefs would be covering. They're getting 3 points or 2.5, 3, depending on the sports book you go to. So I think if you're gonna flip a coin, you might as well take the points. And I think it's gonna be a really close game, but to your point, it's good Josh Allen or bad Josh Allen. Good Josh Allen, the Bills win. Bad Josh Allen, the Bills lose. It's as simple as that. And you never really know when he's going to show up, but he hasn't reared his ugly head in a while, Brandon. Like, he's lurking. He's lurking somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody knows it. Is it going to be this week, next season? I don't know. But he will come back at some point.
Yeah, he's not gone for good.
He's not gone for good. And
No.
boy, when he strikes, you never really see it coming. I think this could be a bad Josh Allen game. The pressure mounted on this kid right now because the Bills are in the driver's seat, man, and everybody knows it. So it just feels like one of those games where the pressure will mount and these bad Josh Allen's going to show up. And I've been saying it for weeks. I was one of the first professional sports commentators out there, with a big enough voice and a large enough platform that's been talking about the Chiefs defense for a long time. I mentioned it early on the season. They got rid of Tyreek Hill so that they could draft an elite defense, and they did it. Go figure. They've got amazing GMs, all that.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs defense can give them problems, and I think they will. And I just think the pressure of playing at home as a favorite for the Bills are not going to bode well, and the Chiefs pull it off. But I do think it's a lower scoring game. I think it's closer to a 21-20 type situation, maybe, but like I could see a weird score, like a 22-19, because some weird shit, going it for 2 or a safety or I don't know. I think it's going to be
33-31 is a crazy out there.
Yeah, that's out there. I think it's going to be right around that 45.5 number. My official prediction will be 23-20 Chiefs.
All right. Well, there you have it. We almost went 4 for 4, but I knew you were going to go with the Chiefs because of your bold prediction.
Yeah, got to do it.
You're really sticking to that.
Really sticking to it.
You're going hard.
I'm gonna fucking die with these predictions I made.
Hey, that's fine.
Roughly a year ago.
Hey, I'm cool with that, and especially because one of your bold predictions was the Bills losing in the wild card round and then firing Sean McDermott. So I'm actually happy because that means if you're picking the Chiefs, that means that there's a higher likelihood that they're going to lose.
Guaranteed. Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we did do a 6-leg parlay, so we might as well just get to that real quick. We skipped on our Brash parlay last week, so we decided to just toss one in last second. We literally threw this together in like 3 minutes. So I got it pulled up right here, Josh. The 6-leg parlay. A couple of these are bunched together because they're same game parlay picks, but the first one was our was this your underdog? What was your underdog?
Well, we start with favorites.
Oh, okay. We're starting with favorites. Sorry.
My favorite this week is the Lions money line at -275. I just think they're that team this year, and being at home for all the reasons we just said, I really like the Lions this week. Again, the spread could be dicey, but Lions money line -275. They're going to find a way to win this.
Yeah, my favorite is the 49ers money line, but of course, because it bunched it up, I'm trying to see exactly what that number was. I think it was something crazy though, like -530 or something.
I think 520 -520 was. Yeah.
So yeah, those are solid favorites. I don't hate those. Our coin flips. I went with the. Oh wait. Oh, I went with Josh Allen. That's right. Sorry, it's tucked at the bottom there. I was overlooking it. Even though I think we're going to see good Josh Allen, I do have him throwing a pick in this one. He didn't throw a pick last game. So back-to-back games, no interceptions from Josh Allen. You just don't see that. And this one could be one of those where like he throws it and it's a deflection, and then it's just a kind of an easy grab for the Chiefs defense. Yeah. So Josh Allen at -130. You throwing a pick is my coin toss.
Yeah, even good Josh Allen throws picks. There's no I really like that play. I would bet a single on that too and just cash that. But for my coin flip, I'm sticking with Green Bay, San Francisco over I know you said you think it's going to be a little low scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be high scoring, mostly by the 49ers. I think they put up 35. So all you need is for Green Bay to get 16. I think they can do that, even if they only have half of the third quarter to work with, because, San Francisco is going to start putting backups in on defense. You look at some garbage time points. I think we can get to 50.5 pretty easily. So the Green Bay, San Francisco over 50.5 at -115 is my coin flip.
And fortunately, I have no money at stake for that. So the opposite way. So I hope you are absolutely right. And it is over 50.5. All right. Now we're getting into the underdog territory. And I really went out on the furthest tip of the limb here, Josh. I went with a first touchdown scorer.
Yeah.
I've never done this, but I wanted to.
So
I
good,
wanted to toss this one in there. Again, it bunched it up with your underdog. I don't see what the pick was, and I have to log back into FanDuel in order to see it. So fuck it. But that said, it was a bit of a stretch. Was it plus 400? It sounds right. Nico Collins for the Texans scoring the first touchdown of their game in Baltimore. Nico Collins will score a touchdown. Will he be the first? Stay tuned to find out. But that is what I picked as my underdog. Nico Collins get that first touchdown. So God, that'll make that first touchdown that much more exciting when we're watching this game in a few hours.
I'm looking right now. I have FanDuel pulled up, and it is first touchdown score Nico Collins. I'm looking at plus 1,000.
Wait, what? Well, see that there's no way that's what it was when we picked.
Wait, there we go. First 1,000. That's the one in the middle. So
wow,
maybe you did anytime plus 155. First,
no, I swear to God, first team touchdown score. Oh, is it maybe just for his team?
Oh, did you do? Well, no, it wouldn't be that much of an underdog. I don't know.
First team touchdown score. Is that what that means?
No.
So he just has to be the first.
First to score on the Texans.
It just says first team touchdown score. Maybe I just didn't put that together, but whatever. Who cares? That's still fucking underdog. Who gives a shit? All right, get to your underdog, Josh. Let's move right along.
Damn it, Brandon! If you had just written it down like I did over here with my Lamar Jackson 80+ rushing yards at plus 300, dude. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. When the pressure mounts for these running quarterbacks, they get a little less. They let a little less want to do this and a little more want to do this and run around. So he's one of the best to ever do it. So 80 yards to me is totally manageable. I think he's done that like maybe 3 out of 4 of his playoff games. I don't know the stats. If we had a guy, we could look it up on the fly. But I think he'll get there. I think this is a textbook game where he's just scrambling, running around for his life. 80 yards, he can get there. Plus 300 to me is totally value. I'm going to plop a little single bet on that too. And that rounds out our parlay. Did you find anything on the...
I did find out, just quickly Googled it, that first team touchdown score does mean the first player who receives a touchdown pass or crosses the goal line with the ball. So it doesn't have to be for any particular team. That's just a really shitty way of wording it.
Yeah.
But that's what it says when I Googled it. So it doesn't say for any specific team.
Dude, I'm looking at plus 1,000 for Nico Collins. I don't know if we got robbed. If we just put it in too early.
The same game parlay shows is plus 1294. Oh, so I guess that would make sense together.
Mine's plus 300. Yours is plus 1,000. I don't know, something like that.
Whatever. Overall, Josh, the 6-leg parlay brings us to plus 7,194. The $6 bet, as is tradition here at Brash Sports, pay out a lovely $437.67. Let's do the damn thing. Let's win some money before the Super Bowl this year, okay? I know we're good at our Super Bowl parlays, but we got to. Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, my friend. Well, that just about does it. It's time to get this thing edited, punched out, and out to our Brash faithful. So
our
we can get
loyal
ready.
viewer.
Yeah, so our one loyal viewer, thank you once again for tuning in, my friend. And we'll see you next week for the conference championship games.
All right, let's fucking go. See you, buddy.
All right, brother.